Hi, my name is Kelechi Jovito Okonkwo, and my project is all about enterprise resource planning in the supply chain management of a bakery. The first blog was just all about understanding the nature of my client, getting a review of the background of the business generally, and the second blog was also about the current state of analysis, where I did a SWOT analysis and a PESTLE analysis to further diagnose the situation of my client. And then the third blog was all about identifying what method of implementation I was going to use. And I chose Agile method because it seemed effective, and I also carried out an interview of 12 participants between the third and fourth blog, where I'd already uploaded the participant forms. And then this fourth blog generally is going to be all about um, the solution model testing plan, evaluating it, making amendments where needed, and also all about visualizing data and also comparing the data with the hypothesis and making my recommendations. And that part of the testing plan, I chose the test granular spectrum, and this spectrum kind of tests the system ranging from roughness to smoothness to kind of um, know where amendments can be made. And there are several um, testers involved in this testing plan. And in the course of implementing this, I would suggest you um, get several testers for the structural white phase, which um, you have the programmers, you have the system admin, the electrical and mechanical engineers. Basically, these people tend to break down the system and test it to see um, how effective it's going to be. And this is more like a softness kind of testing. And then this is the first stage of testing. The second stage of testing is the behavioral black box. This is where the engineers, the technicians, the programmers come together. They run tests, debug the programs to check if this can actually suit what they really want for this business. And the final stage is the live test, where data are being imputed, and a live test is being run on this enterprise resource planning system. And this live test kind of shows if um, this system is suitable, if it's effective, and if it actually works. So the implementation model for the agile implementation model follows a five-stage implementation process, which is the initial project planning. And this initial project planning has to do with um, breaking down the project to get recognizing the conditions, the strategies, the sequence, even the resources at hand for pursuing this. And the second stage is improvement on the business process and gap analysis. So this kind of checks where the business is and where the business wants to be, and kind of see how they can streamline the gap and make these two marry. And then the third stage is the configuration, processing, and running trials. At this stage, trials are being done, and I think this is where the testing falls into, the testing plan falls into. Um, Trials are being done um, on the system to know where there's a fault, to know where more features needs to be put in. And then you move over to the employee training and data transferring stage. This has to just do with basically incorporating the employees, the users of this ERP, and training them on how to use this, including training the CEO on how the system actually works, because um, it's actually necessary that the users know how the system works to avoid um, falsification of data, to avoid mistakes and what have you. So in this stage, data are being transferred into the system. So it's more like running a full inventory of what is on ground, probably picking a day in the company, in the bakery where there's no production, and then a general inventory is being taken and being imputed into the ERP system to start the system. And then the final stage is the go live session, where is it goes live, it's functioning, and it's being reviewed, improvements are being done, and necessary repairs, and that. So, moving forward to the model adjustment and amendments, in addition to the agile method, there's also something called the agile story cards. This is where the consultant or the project manager kind of breaks down the system, breaks down the project into bits, and developing story cards. And then what are story cards? Story cards are just used to get full knowledge of people's roles and what is demanded of them. So there are two different types of story cards. You have the story card for the shareholder. This is where the shareholder or the owner of the business states, I want this and this, and this is what I want to achieve with this. And then the project manager breaks down this project with these story cards being given to each team member, and these team members they kind of fill in their roles. There are like four clauses there. You have two mandatory clauses where as a team member, for instance, as a programmer, the programmer knows that he's expected to facilitate this, and he's expected to deliver this within certain amount of days, and he's to also narrow it down, which is something optional, to put out there what he needs to deliver this project at a specific time. And he's also to speak on the challenges, the risk that he may encounter in the course of um, his role as a team member in delivering this. So now, there's something called the agile team velocity, and this agile team velocity also measures story points, because each improvement or each milestone in this agile story card method is called a sprint. So agile team velocity measures story points that make up a sprint. So now in this agile story card method, they also have five stages of further diagnosing the agile method. And we have a situation where the first one is all about putting the work team together, which comprises of the stakeholders and the team members. The second has to do with using story cards to assemble all requirements, the requirement of the project manager, the requirement of the stakeholder, the requirement of the team members, the programmers, the employees, stating out every requirement. And this requirement is used to facilitate a backlog session using Scrum Master to kind of develop sprints, which are kind of milestones, called milestones. So the next stage, they ask all team members to fill in these story cards. So everyone has at the back of their mind when they are supposed to deliver their role and at a specific day. So this face card is also used to develop sprint meetings, because when an achievement is made each sprint, there should be like a meeting to discuss the next phase. Yeah. So now we'll be moving forward to visualizing data from a comparative case study from Shoma and Koma 2022, where they showed the difference between implementing a software using agile traditional method and agile story cards. So these two methods, from the data above, you can find out that the same sprint, like sprint one, they were able to deliver 140 story points to make up that one sprint. But in the traditional method, you find out that they were able to deliver 110 story points to make up this um, number one sprint. And you can find out that with the agile story card, every role member actually knows what they are supposed to do. And by knowing what they are supposed to do, um, this kind of facilitates results. And then the next data I'll be talking about is the data of the agile team velocity. You could see an analysis was shown showing how each sprint, the red color, the red line above the blue signifies um, agile method using story cards, while the blue line signifies agile method um, using traditional methods. But you can find out that these two achieved the same result, but one achieved the same result with a higher story points. It's like getting a grade of a 70% and also a grade of 80. So you could see that the red is way higher than the blue. So now moving forward to the interpretation and application of my data, I conducted a 12 an interview with 12 participants where their age range fell between young and old. Their experience varies between 5 and 30 years. I mean, their experiences in supply chain, procurement, auditing, accounting, data analysis, and inventory management. So, and then and I also identified that their background, educational background, varies between bachelor's degree and master's degree holders, and the gender was a mix of female and male. So the um the the interview was conducted based on three constructs, which is performance expectancy, facilitating conditions, and financial influence. And then there was extensive experience acknowledged that the fact that performance expectation is the sole aim of the study, and Werder et al. In 2006 proved that there's a relationship between ERP and performance. And then also looking at facilitating conditions, there was emphasis also placed on the use of data for analysis, um, and this um, data are also used in making informed decision in every business. And then looking at also the financial influence, 75% of my participants placed extensive emphasis based on experience on the financial impact on implementing ERP, as it saves cost in the long run. 10% also showed concern that um, the cost of implementing this ERP can either make or mar the business. And then about 5% placed emphasis on the success of the process being just dependent on the managerial system of the business. Then, with also a comparison with that of Whether it or, you could see that there's a relationship between ERP and performance. You could also see that the line, the line moving forward, moving upward, signifies that um, while performance increases, um, the ERP usage also increases, showing that there's a relationship between performance and the use of ERP system. So now I will be also moving forward to my conclusion. This research work just generally has proved that the use of agile story card in implementation of ERP is very effective in delivering faster sprints, and it would also help team members to develop team velocity. This study also proves that um, the implementation of enterprise resource planning system in supply chain can actually influence performance, revenue, and informed decision making. Finally, I was also recommended that um, in as much as I've done a study on this, I would still recommend further studies to be done on ERP implementation in businesses, especially in developing countries, because such research can contribute to the development of businesses generally. And the next step for my client, I would suggest that um, you weigh the options and also the benefits of implementing enterprise resource planning in supply chain management. Also, checking if it's worth it. I would also suggest you contact me at my email ko23aam at health.ac.uk, or possibly any proficient consultant or any project manager to help execute this study. So I also forwarded my entire project to my client, which I got a feedback on how happy and excited um, they were about the outcome of the study, and I could see that they would really want to speak with me on a deeper level as to how I could help implement this. So, key lessons learned. This project taught me to always ask questions whenever I'm confused or unsure about anything. This project really opened my mind to challenges businesses face in today's day, and also taught me to also pay attention to what is required to me by my supervisor, as this is the key to good grades. Then, and finally, my personal reflection. I'm using Gibbs reflective model. This project would not have been complete without the help of my supervisor, Professor Jayati Chudri, um, who is a genius in what she does. The initial stage, I kind of struggled a bit um, um, with the fact that I was going through grief, the loss of my dad, and I really did not want to be in group meetings. But it seemed like she carried everyone along. She made us feel comfortable, and I started to get back into myself, and um, I was getting comfortable expressing myself, my concerns about my project, and she also helped balance compassion and discipline. She was a good example of someone who showed compassion. She also showed discipline when necessary. Um, um, she also helped us to understand concepts which was confusing to us. And then moving forward, we also generally were able to learn from each other, because at that point when I started to get comfortable, I realized that um, the essence of the group supervision was for each and every one of us to learn from each other, from questions being asked by our peers. We got to learn better. And in as much as I got lower grades for the first two blocks, which I knew was related to my earlier struggles, and after really approaching the professor about this, she pointed out areas in which I needed to do more work on, and I did this, and which actually translated to my grades in my third blog, and they came out very well. I'm also happy about that. And then moving forward, I learned team spirit and the ability to speak publicly and the ability to show compassion. And in the future, I would also try to put my emotions in check when I feel unsure about a situation. And I've also learned several IT skills. I mean, with building the website and also with blog posts and finally this project has actually improved our social learning ability because it's learning in group proves to be one of the best way of learning where you give people your time and there's no greater gift than giving someone your time. So these are my references for further studies and insights. Thank you.